Raj Verma is CEO at database vendor SingleStore, joining us around the desk with his thoughts on the whole AI mania. Lovely to have you, Raj, on the show. Thank you very much.
Such a pleasure to be here, Tanvir.
For your time. I do want to, firstly, because it's such a major market sell-off day and it's predicated on maybe there's too much AI hype happening in the markets, maybe that needs to be corrected, maybe there needs to be a reality check on it. How do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the hype for sure is there. How real is the hype? Like with anything, is it going to be down 80%? Is it going to be down 10%? There will be a downward trend to this hype. There is absolutely no ifs and buts about it. I do think that people did over-rotate on the AI bit. I do think that 70 to 80% of the startups on AI in the Valley and around the world will probably not make it, right? But the 20% that make it would be bigger than what we've ever seen in our lives, is my view of it. I lens AI and this entire hype about AI in kind of three simple terms, right? What's AI going to do? The easy is going to get automated, the hard is going to become easy, and the impossible will become possible.
Great way of putting it.
Right. So the easy getting automated is what's happening right now. And that's actually not that exciting. Those jobs which were highly paid jobs in certain cases, weren't value-added jobs for that, to that matter. They were very sort of routine workflow jobs. And that's going to have the productivity enhancements and all the rest of it. And I do think that if that's all AI ever did, then it's mildly interesting, if that, right? And the hard becoming easy, that's where AI starts getting interesting. And then when the impossible starts becoming possible, that's where you will see companies that you can't even believe would have existed one day to come around.
Is it only the big boys club that can crack into AI transition?
Well, AI, as I always say, it's been 30 years in the making. AI is all about vast data and fast compute. So it's the vast and the fast. Anyone who has access to vast data and fast compute is going to actually win. And that's why I was very, very excited and very encouraged that Singapore has taken the stance of the smart nation that it has. And I do think when you have the infrastructure and access to vast data, good things would happen in the AI space here. So yeah, really, really excited about it. Now, whether it's the big boys of the Amazons, Facebooks, and the Googles of the world, or big boys by way of countries investing in infrastructure, I do think that whoever wins the infrastructure war will win the AI war, for sure.
So what's the next leg then for AI, Raj? Because arguably there's been a lot of hype around this. There are some concerns about the risk of overbuild as well with some of the big names. But then, as you say, it's going to determine who are the winners and losers in this when we start to see sort of major adoption and deployment of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to go through a few technology trends in my life. I was lucky I started when I was 5, so I'm kidding. But it's just, I saw the entire office automation trend, right? When we were selling PCs and printers and replacing fax machines and all the typewriters, right? And then the internet, and then you would say the mobility and cloud, and now the entire AI wave. If you see where we were 2 years after Al Gore invented the internet in 1995, so where were we with the internet in 1997? You could probably send an email and not really be able to do much, right? And who was profiting were the infrastructure vendors, the Ciscos, the Suns, who were really powering the infrastructure of the internet. 2 years into AI, who are winning? The infrastructure vendors like OpenAI, NVIDIA, the chip manufacturers. AI will become interesting, like the internet became interesting over the next 3 to 5 years, when there are AI applications that are powering this infrastructure. That's where AI would become an immersive part of our lives, right? So I do think that this hype is not, it's a hype, but there is going to be a lot of interesting stuff that will come out that will be powered by the infrastructure that we have in place today, which will make AI at least somewhat of stand up to the hype somewhat.
You're here in Singapore and you did mention it. I'm keen to get your thoughts on, as we sit here in Asia, everyone's been sort of trying to figure out what role this region can play in all this so-called hype, because, you know, we have a lot of people like you who come to the region and are talking to a number of countries about what they're doing, but it seems to be more about sort of the secondary effects here as well, particularly in North Asia. China's just sort of doing its own thing, right? But what are the nature of your conversations? What are you hearing in this part of the world?
Yeah, we are very excited about two countries specifically in Asia, and we put our money where our mouth is, India and Singapore. And they are for sort of slightly different reasons. Singapore is just easier, you know, so our international head office is here. We also just find that the government is extremely encouraging of entrepreneurs and innovation, right? India, just because of the vastness and what they have done with the digital infrastructure, it's going to be the next, you know, $10 trillion market. So we are extremely excited about it. And just the pure sort of firepower of the talent that they produce year on year, year after year, with 350 million of the population, which is still below 16 years of age. That makes these two countries the most exciting countries for us from a technology standpoint. And if you were to consider Israel in Asia, that is the other one, apart from, you know, whatever's going on there. I think the startup world and the innovation world there is extremely exciting for us.
Raj, unfortunately, we've got to leave it there. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and coming into the studio to chat with us, and good luck for the rest of your trip around Asia. That was Raj Verma there, CEO of SingleStore.